All right, welcome to another episode of the Fair Chase podcast. We're still here at Salt River. We had a bunch of guys out with a lot of good stories, and so we thought, let's take a few minutes and pick their brains. So today we have Jesse.
Yes, Jesse Anderson.
Introduce yourself. What do you do? Who are you?
So my name is Jesse Anderson, a.k.a. the Grizz Man on social media.
The Grizz Man.
Yeah. So there's kind of a story behind my nickname from years. My nickname was Bear first, and then
Why? What was a bear?
So, you know, Bear Grylls.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. The outdoorsman. That was me. I was this little 12-year-old kid camping in the middle of winter in a little hut I'd make with just by myself in the middle of a winter storm. People were like, "How you're just like Bear Grylls?"
Yeah.
So then people started calling me Bear, and then it led into when I started growing a beard, like Grizzly Adams, and then Grizzly, and then Grizzly Guy, Grizz Man, and then it just kind of formed into this nickname of Grizz Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of stuck with it. So even my company name, Grizz Media, kind of all led into that. And then I got charged by a grizzly bear, so it kind of all came together. But my name is Jesse Anderson. I'm the owner of Grizz Media, outdoor media agency, and I practically do marketing, outdoor creations for outdoor brands, as well as kind of hunt for a living, and that's exactly why I'm here.
That's kind of the life.
Yeah,
really.
Sweet. Yeah, and so we had Jack on. His episode I think will go out last week, and so he told the story actually from here for his hunt story of his first deer, which was really cool. But prior to getting into that, we asked him a few like kind of icebreaker questions, and so we're gonna ask you those same questions, two of them to be exact. So first of all, like your favorite hunt, like if you could pick like one thing to always do, like it can be a very specific place, it can be general.
Like the favorite hunt I've already done, or something that I've always wanted to do.
Like you've done, like when you think of just like a hunt that you keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first one that comes off the top of my head, I've only done once, and that was a few months ago, or it was the month of August. Was the sable hunt in Africa. So I was in Africa for the entire month of August, and a sable has been the animal. It's like a unicorn to me.
Okay.
You see this
Not
animal.
literally a unicorn.
Not literally. It's a very big antelope animal, but it's just this amazing animal to me. And I might have saw it first when I was like 12 years old in a magazine. And it's just this big, black, majestic animal. It's got these long, curled horns that come all the way back. And I just looked at it and go, that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a real animal.
Mm-hmm.
Then I looked into it, and I saw hunters shooting it, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, the thing is beautiful. And you see kudu in Africa. You see impala, wildebeest, stuff like that. But this animal, I had no idea where it was from. And I did some research on it. I'm like, this is the animal I want. And I still have yet to shoot a buck over 121 inches.
Okay.
I've public land hunted. That's all I've ever done in Michigan, and we don't have very big deer.
No.
Nope.
And this year I got an opportunity to go to Africa for a month and hunt some of my dream animals, which was a dream come true. And I got to hunt a sable before I got to shoot 121 or bigger buck, which is unbelievable. It's unheard of. Usually people do everything before Africa.
Right.
So that's the one that stands off on the top of my head by far. It's
You do that again?
100%. It's a really cool hunt, and I want to do it again with a bow, spot and stalk, getting through the brush and sending an arrow at 50, 60 yards, just watching it fly,
Yeah.
And that's what I do is bow hunting. But this hunt was actually with the rifle because it was coming down to the final bit of time, and it was 300 yards.
Okay, I was going to say, how close is it? Yeah, right. That's fair enough.
Yeah, it was a long shot. It was a little over, I think, I couldn't tell you exactly, but maybe 260. It was a long shot, and we shot it with a 375, which is a big round.
Yeah.
And actually what happened is I shot low because we sighted the gun in at 100, and the guide goes, like 260, whatever the range was, and he goes, shoot right on him because we were up quite a bit.
Oh,
we were up probably 200-300 feet.
With the angle, that does affect
he thought it wouldn't drop at all.
Yeah.
But what happened, it did drop. More than we expected. So I think we underestimated the height of the shot of the elevation change.
Gotcha.
So I actually ended up shooting almost 8-9 inches low, which was not what you want to do.
No.
I didn't kill the animal, but we saw a perfect hole in it. We actually watched it in slow-mo, 300 yards just sending, and we could see this bullet spiraling and hitting it, which was just so cool to watch. But then we got to know where we hit it, which is why we always film everything.
Yeah.
And, so this animal was wounded. It ran off like nothing even happened. Well, a couple days later, I'm just devastated. That's all I wanted to do is make sure that animal's either alive or not wounded to the point. But he had no idea what happened. He was perfectly fine. So that was cool. But then, we go out for a few more times, and we're looking for the same one. I was pointed up with the scope at a few other ones. We realized it wasn't him. Didn't see that hole where we hit him. All right, let's pass him. And then a couple days later, we saw him eating in a hayfield. Or not a hayfield, but he was eating some grass in some whatever area in the bush. And we got another shot at him. Shot him, stood up on his hind legs, like 30 yards.
Should have had
Yeah.
your bow.
I know, I wish. But at that point, he was already, partially wounded. I said,
Yeah.
I'm not making the risk.
No,
I wish I had my bow, and that's what I wanted to do. I went there for my bow. But I wanted to make the ethical shot, just get him down since I already hit him. If I never hit him before, would have gone with the bow. But hit him, he went up on his hind legs, crashed down, dead.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So, how is he delicious?
So
Did you eat him?
Yeah, it was actually one of the best meats I've ever had. If you didn't tell me it wasn't beef, I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
If you would have
Beef
cooked it
like-
just like a steak,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed. And we ate some other animals like hippo and zebra that you wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah.
It was just a better cut of beef.
Okay.
Like zebra was my favorite by far.
Sure.
That was unbelievable. And a lot of people get weird about it. They're like, "Oh, it's a horse," But
I heard horses are delicious too.
I've never tried
We
it.
were just talking about that the other night.
Yeah,
This
we
guy
were.
was saying Jack was
Jack
right.
was
Jack
saying
was
that,
saying
yeah.
that was.
I don't know if I'd do it because I love horses. But
How much do you love horses? The way they taste?
I love
You
that
never know.
horse.
You
it
can
might
love all
change my
parts.
mind. You put one on a platter in front of me and don't
Arby's-
tell me. You might trick me.
Arby's has a good horse sauce.
You know what, Jared? Take a lap. All right, no, we got to keep going though. We have to. We have the other question.
Yeah.
And this is. I don't want you to be triggered by this question. I think Jack was.
Okay, it's hard to trigger me.
So
Deal.
we have this debate, and it's not anything that Jared always assumes that I've come very solidly down in one area or another,
Ooh, good.
right?
Punny.
I'm kind of. Oh yeah. Okay. Hey,
You got
I didn't
it?
mean to do that.
All
Yeah.
right.
So when it comes to hunting and camouflage, like, how important is camo versus just wearing like
Solids.
brown clothes? Obviously, like we're throwing out like black because like obviously black colors or colors that deer or whatever can see, but like solids or camo.
To me, I think it all depends.
Okay.
I don't think there's
That's
a
the
one
coward
camo.
way out, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
You gotta pick a side.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I've hunted in a lot of different places. And like Africa, I don't think is a place where you need camo, because a lot of it is open bush, grasslands, and actually solids. I think work best in that situation
Mm-hmm.
because when you're around sand, if you have camo and you're in the middle of an open area, then you just kind of look like this weird brush thing that's out in the open
Sure.
that stands out to
A
them.
bush, a standing
And
bush.
They'll notice those dark lines more.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing a solid in somewhere like Africa, you actually kind of blend in a little better, depending on where you're at. If you're more safari or the
So
bush,
your
but
answer is it depends.
it's a cop out answer. I
Situational.
know.
It's fine. It's the politically correct
But it's my
answer.
How
100%
about this?
honest question.
How about
the
this?
honest answer.
Since the majority of the people who listen to this are whitetail oriented, for a whitetail woods, my level's not good?
I don't know,
You
dude.
can't hear me, can you?
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
I stopped hearing you. Good thing we
1,
added these.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It'd be right here. There I am.
Check one. You're
Somebody
Yeah,
dial
maybe-
down my wheel.
good.
Screw you, Jared.
My elbow
level-
screw there.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Don't want to hear
Okay,
him.
so let me try this again. Since the majority of our listeners are whitetail hunters, let's
Yeah.
put this in their perspective. So, a whitetail hunting scenario, camo or solids?
Camo.
Why?
Well, so
Didn't you know your grandpa used to do it in plaid?
my grandpa actually never hunted.
Well, somebody's grandpa.
His
I was-
friend.
I was really the only one in my
hunted.
family that hunted, other than my uncle on my aunt's side after marriage. So
Okay.
nobody in my family really hunted. Something I just got into on my own.
Yeah.
But I think it also, you're gonna hate me. It depends. So
Oh, brother.
if you're
Jeez,
ground
this
hunting,
guy.
if you're ground hunting camo, for sure. I think that's important. But if you're in a tree and you're standing, and like say if you're hunting a bait pile or a trail and the tree's right behind you, a solid will work great because you're silhouetted against that tree perfectly.
Right.
But if you're standing in a thin tree and you got different branches around you, thin brush, I think camo is perfect because it's going to break up your figure. But if you're hunting a blind, obviously you could wear.
You
want
to go dark. If
Yeah,
you're,
you could wear a Hello Kitty hoodie.
Yeah.
For all you care.
Hopefully it's black.
Yeah.
Color.
Yeah, at least it's dark. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you could wear
That
pretty
hot
much
pink.
whatever you need in there. But
All right.
yeah, I would say it really depends. But whitetail, I always do camo. At least my upper body. My legs not so much because my legs generally don't move. I'm either standing or sitting, but my upper body is moving. I'm grabbing bow, binos.
Picking
So,
your nose. You
Yeah,
ever pick
picking
your
my
nose out there?
nose, twiddling my thumbs, waiting for something to happen.
I
But,
flick boogers at Jared sometimes.
Flick
I
boogers.
don't notice. If they hit me,
I haven't, yeah,
Nice.
but
I
I'm
figured you
definitely
just-
going to now.
I saw someone's neck earlier. I thought you were just kind of rubbing them without
I just
knowing.
go.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for being
hey,
here.
a good back rub when
Yeah.
you're in the stand, though, is just kind of
Dude,
relax
it's
up a little
true.
bit.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna nip this part of the conversation
Yeah,
in the
okay,
bud.
let's stop.
And get into it. So when I say hunting story, right? We talk. By the way, for people who are listening, there's a little wind. We're outside. People are shooting bows.
Hey, but
Deal with it.
that's the way to do it. This is
Gritty.
the camp life.
Welcome to the lodge.
But for
Jake's over there butchering up a deer.
and we're looking at him.
We're
It is
shooting bows here.
Yeah.
currently headless. He's done fine. He's
Looking
done okay.
delicious.
He's done fine.
He did not do it under 40.
I'll tell you what, it
For
wasn't
the
easy getting up
record.
there.
What was that?
It wasn't easy getting up there.
No, I
There's
can
no
really-
rope. We had to lift it, chains, hook it, loop. It
It's
was
kind of a small buck though, so.
yeah, to post it.
No, it's it's a very nice mature buck.
It's a good buck. It's old.
It's a very big buck. Okay, but back to so when I say hunting story and when I say great hunting story, and you think of your experiences in the woods or who you've been with, like what comes to mind?
Is this one that I've hunted myself or maybe just a hunt I've been on?
Either one.
Either one.
Honestly, you don't have to have been successful either.
Okay.
I'm a guy you've never met. Tell me a hunting story.
Yeah, like tell me about why hunting is great via story.
Okay, well, I got one story for you, and it kind of runs into what happened this week, which is kind of convenient. So the one that stands out to me is our recent hunt in Africa. Again, Africa. But
Cool.
there's always stories in Africa.
Cool.
It's a wild place.
Yep.
It was a hippo hunt.
Okay.
So we're hunting at a place called African Wild Safaris, and it's this massive chunk of land where a lot of their animals are brought in there for, like, specifically the hippo. So all the hippos on this property were man killers.
Okay.
They've all killed people.
Okay.
And they obviously want them gone. But a lot of times if they are a man killer, people just shoot them dead there and leave it and rot.
Right.
So what they do is they actually transport this animal to this place where people like us, hunters, can go in and hunt this animal and produce money for the local people.
What kind of environment are they put in? Like, is it like a huge
It's
preserve?
like a reservoir. It's like a dam. So obviously it's the bush of Africa, but there's this massive dam, and every once in a while it floods in. So there's always water there.
Yeah.
But they live there year-round.
Are they free to range around, or are they
Yeah.
stuck?
They have thousands of acres to
Okay.
range around, yeah. Eventually there are fences, but that's to keep poachers out.
Gotcha.
Not to keep animals
Right.
in. Most animals can just run over the fence or hop over. And people don't realize that. But so, yeah, there's this hunt we're doing there, and it's for our buddy named Daniel, which actually, long story short, we went to a Walmart to buy our Ohio tags this week, and one of the guys there is like, hey, I want to show you this photo of this guy I met recently. Pulls out a photo of this little scrapbook, and it's a photo of our buddy Daniel that we filmed the hippo hunt of.
No,
And we're like,
way,
no
really?
way. We literally just filmed this guy. And he's like, you guys filmed this? I'm like, yeah, we took
It's
that
a
photo.
small world.
Tiny world, yeah. And then he
That's
just texts
awesome.
me this morning, goes, hey, look who I am. And it's the guy from Walmart that he ran into. And he said, the guy from Walmart ran into us. So it was
That's
like,
funny.
accidentally. We had no idea that our buddy went to this Walmart ever. We just stopped in Ohio to get tags. And then all of a sudden he had this little printed out photo of it. I'm like, oh, man, that is crazy small world. But, yeah, this hippo hunt was something I've never done. It's the most dangerous animal in Africa. You
Yeah.
think lions, leopards,
Cape
rhinos.
buffalo.
Yeah, and we've seen all those. And, I got 10 yards from a giant white rhino.
Cool.
They're usually more docile. But so this hippo hunt is already making us nervous.
Yeah.
It's the most deadly animal in Africa. It kills thousands of people a year. And this hippo is a man killer. So we're like, all right, well, we're already on the watch out
He's
for
got the
something.
badass,
taste of
man.
Yeah,
for
he's
man.
got some blood.
Jared's got the taste
He's got a
of man.
finger hanging out of
Yeah.
his teeth.
Yeah.
And they say they
You're
don't
bad
eat meat.
dude.
They're not designed to eat meat. That's not what they do. But we watched one eat a dead goat. So
Just
I don't know.
chomp
You
it
need a
up.
protein, man. I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen
He's gotta get
videos
that-
of deer eat birds. You ever seen those? Have you ever seen this?
No.
There'll
I've
be
seen-
like
you
a
showed me
bird.
that one.
There's like
Yeah.
a bird on their back, and it just goes like this, and it literally eats it like it would be eating an apple. Crunches
chew
it
it
up
sideways?
You can see it go down. It's when they're in the summer when you can see their throat. Like you can literally see him eat. I've seen a couple videos of this. You look it up. It's crazy.
Just bird eating.
Anyway, so
definitely do
you're hunting a man eater.
So we're hunting a
killer.
man eater, and the first few days we saw this thing in the water, and they are smart. They know when you're there, and they know why you're there.
Ugh.
The look in their eyes is so intimidating. It's like a grizzly bear, but it's a giant hairless hippo in
Yeah.
the water of Africa. It's a weird animal.
Just sticking his
They
eyes
are
up out of the
so
water.
yeah. They just have these little tiny eyes. Well, giant to them, but they're just poking out of the water, and you don't realize how big they are. But they're a bus just sitting in the water, but you just see these tiny eyes.
Yeah.
And don't get near the water; they'll kill you. So yeah, we're hunting this animal. The first few days we can see it in the water, but we don't really get opportunities because we wanted to shoot it on land. One for content, but also to just make an ethical shot. So we never got the opportunity. A few days later, we go down to the edge of this dam. There's a reservoir, so we're walking down there. I'm filming this hunt, so I'm generally in the back, and everybody's kind of walking down. And me and one of the hunter's buddies, Cody, are in the back of this line, and we're probably 30 yards behind everybody. Everybody starts walking up on this dam, and I look over, me and Cody look over, and we see just trees getting run over. Well, we don't know what it is. We just hear it. It's just crushing trees, and we're like, man, what is going on? And we look over, and there's these two, probably, I don't know the exact weight, but roughly 2,500 to 3,000 pound hippos, just running through the brush, sprinting, and they can
How
run.
fast do they go?
They'll outrun a human, 30 miles, 40 miles an hour.
A hippo?
cow.
Yeah, which is crazy, and they're agile. I watched one run up a slant like this in like 2 seconds, and then it was going to go into the water, and it stopped on a dime, and then walked down. It would have ran over our truck. I mean, they're so powerful and fast and smart. They're a terrifying animal. They might look cute and cuddly in a cartoon.
No, I'm
and stuff.
hungry
I'm scared
hippos,
shitless
though.
of a hippo.
Yeah, they are terrifying.
I saw
man.
a video of some dudes on a boat, right? And they're starting to take off. They're starting to get up on plane, right? They're probably about half throttle on the boat. And you see like this set of ripples kind of charging at the boat.
They're fast in water.
It was a hippo underwater running on the ground. And it finally like comes up and tries to bite the boat.
And they have control. They can like make themselves sink or the rise and just move.
I've seen Jared do that. He'll go in the water and he'll just sink real hard and he sinks. And then all of a sudden he'll be like, he'll rise back up.
Yep.
It's bizarre.
Half,
He's a freak.
Fish,
Half hippo.
half hippo.
But
So
yeah,
anyway, okay.
it's sprinting through, and at this point, we're in the back. We're like, we're screwed.
Yeah.
We're going to get charged by this thing. And then we look up to the right of us for an escape route, and it's just like a cliff. We're like, oh, well, we're done.
Yeah.
This is the end of it for us.
See you, Jesse.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
R.I.P.
So we start trying to yell without obviously yelling. So we're kind of like, hey, waving, and these things come through, and they dove in the water like buses just fell in the water, and they're just coming right at us. And we're like, oh, we're screwed. So eventually we just start kind of jogging a little fast. You can see me in the film just like trying to be steady, but totally not. And we get up to the grue, and we're all pointing, and they finally look at it and they go, oh, my God, there it is. Because there was one specific one we were trying to get. It was the biggest bull out there. And
They're called bulls and cows.
I know they call them bulls for the males. Cows might be different. I don't know.
Anyways, okay.
But, yeah, I know like a lot of animals are. But, yeah, let's just say it was a bull. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And, yeah, so it was running in the water. It dives in the water, and then it just goes under and it's gone. We're like, oh, where's it? And then all of a sudden you see these eyes pop up, and it's just staring at us with this death stare. And it's like that feeling, and I've been charged by bears, but that feeling of seeing this hippo just looking at me, I was like, oh, no.
Just staring right through you.
Because it could have caught me like that if it wanted. And the mouth would have just
Yeah, those
done.
big circular
no
teeth.
chance. Yeah. Have you ever seen
Yeah, like broomsticks.
Yeah, have you ever seen
Yeah.
them chomp on a melon, like a watermelon?
Yes,
They throw
just
them in, the whole thing's gone.
Bonk.
One bite. It's terrifying.
Pumpkins, just
Yeah, and a pumpkin's kind of hard.
Hungry
Yeah.
hippo in real life.
Yeah. So this thing jumps in the water, and then we all get ready. Daniel gets up on a shooting stick. He gets in, and we were using a 375.
Okay.
It's a massive round.
Yeah.
They call it the elephant round, hippo round, whatever. It's a big
Yeah.
game round. And we get ready, and you're supposed to shoot it right between the eyes. You get about a quarter-sized target, and we're maybe 50 yards from it, maybe less. So he shoots, and he's maybe half an inch off, which pretty much just pissed the thing off.
Yeah.
So you think a bullet that big would still do some damage, but it pisses it off. It kind of just starts rolling around and getting closer to us. He shoots it again. And anytime he sees a good vital spot of body, when it comes out, he shoots it. Before this thing was dead, it took 18 375 rounds to take this thing down.
18?
Yeah.
1-8?
18 shots of a 375.
Good night.
And it's just after a while, one of the guides had to shoot because the thing was getting close. It's just boom, boom, boom.
What
They're
he shoot it
reloading.
with?
375.
Again.
Yeah, and they're just going off and off, and they're running out of ammo. They're reaching into their vest, and we're like, oh, you guys better get ammo quick because we're down if you don't.
Sheesh.
And they're getting ammo, and finally they get it. Finally it's dead after 18 shots, but it sank. And it was getting dark, so we wanted to get the thing before dark for photos and video and all that. And also, it's Nile crocodile infested.
Okay.
This reservoir's got 10, 12-footers all over the place, man-eaters.
Yeah, that 375 is big.
You're
I'm looking at pictures
yeah,
right
it's
now.
a massive round. And I'll tell you what, it hurts your shoulder after shooting it at the range or
Like,
even at an animal.
to give people a
Yeah.
perspective, there's a picture of it next to a quarter, and it probably takes 1, 2, 3. It's probably 4 quarters high, like
Yeah.
an American quarter.
Yeah, and the bullet itself was like that long.
Yes.
It's like 4 or 5 inches
Exactly.
long. And we shot this thing, and it puts a dent in your shoulder. It's not fun to shoot, but yeah, so we finally get this thing down. It starts to sink, and like, 30 minutes it'll rise up from the air and stuff inside of it.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we don't have 30 minutes. It's dark, and the crocs come out more. So we give it time.
Will they eat it if you leave it overnight?
Possibly. Everything
Yeah.
will probably eat it, yeah. It'll
Yeah.
eventually float up, but the crocs will eat it and whatever. So usually the crocs there, it's winter. They won't eat anything yet. They'll kill it, and they'll let it rot because it's easier to digest. So even if they killed a human,
Fermented.
they will
Yeah.
kill you and then stuff you under a branch, under something to let you rot for a few days so you're softer. It's a little easier for them to
Gross.
digest, which is,
Yuck.
gross. So we get the crew in, and we got one of our guides there, crazy guy named Heiss. It's just this, he's like Bear Grylls, but this wild bushman from Africa. He's like the dude. You
Yeah.
could write a book about this guy.
Mhm.
So we go in there, and we got about 6 guys with 375 rifles just waiting by the riverside, waiting for crocs to come up. And this guy has to go in there, walk in the water, about neck-deep water, find it with his feet.
Oh, heck no.
Yeah.
Really?
And
Bare
a Nile
feet?
crocodile-infested water, which they are extremely aggressive. And so he
Sheesh.
walks in there, and there's a couple other the guides there, the locals, or the trackers go in there with them, and we're all just ready with guns. and just waiting for a croc to pop up to shoot if they have to. So eventually they find it's about 4 or 5 feet deep, and they hook it up to a chain, and they start dragging it up. It's a little bit more buoyant in the water. They can kind of drag it 3, 4 guys. They get it up, and then we had to use a giant backhoe to actually drag it out of water. And it took maybe 13 of us to roll it.
Really?
We got it up on the bank, but for photos we wanted the legs under it, and we had to lift it. It took 13, 14 people to lift it, and a bulldozer.
Really?
Or a backhoe
Holy
to
cow.
actually turn this thing up. And the head's like 3 feet long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an unbelievably big animal. And, and then they're thick. You feel like most animals you can kind of push on their skin, and there's a little give.
Yeah, sure.
No, there's no give on these things.
No.
They're not just all fat. That's
They're just
muscle.
like a tree.
It's a tree. I felt like I was hitting wood. It was just same with the giraffe. They're just wood. They're
Really?
so hard. And then when we actually watch the skinner skin it, I mean, the skin's like 2, 3 inches thick.
That's why you got to have that round like that.
Yeah. The only spot really to kill it is in between the eyes in that spot.
Right.
But
Oh,
he missed by
seriously?
a quarter inch, and then it was just 18 shots after that, or 17 shots after that. So finally got it out. But that was just a hunt that's like
Embedded in your memory. Like, you'll
Yeah.
never forget that.
No.
and our life was at stake, but also it's an animal you never really see hunted.
And you're
It's a
in
very
Africa.
In Africa, and a maneater. This thing's killed people.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just a wild one that's been hanging out. No, this one's killed people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some local person out there that found out it killed and was like thankful.
Yeah, seriously.
Thankful for
It's
this
a whole
hunter.
and they probably do they take it to the village and cut it
Yeah,
up?
they
and-
donate all the meat. We actually ate the meat the next day, which was one of the best meats I've ever had in my life. It
Really?
was like a great steak. It was unbelievable. Wow. But yeah, they donate all the meat to all the local people, all the people that work at this place. It all goes to use, and they don't waste a dime of it. They
Cool.
use every
That's
piece
cool.
of that animal, which is just cool to see. But yeah, I mean, the animal went to a better use. It could have just been killed and let to rot, but that meat is donated to everybody, and that was a man killer. So people are happy it's killed and put to better use, and that money brought a lot of money into Africa for conservation and efforts to keep poachers away, and it's really cool
Kind
to
of a
see.
win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. So
Well, and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing this amazing hunt where you get a chance to do something like
yeah, you feel
very
like
few
you're part
people.
of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. Even though I wasn't a hunter, I didn't
Right.
care. That's not an animal I think I could hunt. I like horned and antlered animal. That's kind of my thing. Not because I'm more of a trophy hunter, but that's just what I like going after. These big animals, I don't really care to go after. I see a good reason for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know if my soul will let me. There's certain animals I'm just like,
Yeah.
you see it as a zoo and a kid, and that doesn't mean it shouldn't be hunted because there are a lot of overpopulated animals, and there's a reason for it. It's conservation. Without hunting, there would be no conservation. So it's tough, but it was a really cool hunt, and it's the one that just stands out to me. And I've been on some cool hunts all over the world, but that one stood out to me just because it's so different. And it's one that everybody's got a story of an elk hunt. I won't say everybody, but a lot of people. Or a really cool deer hunt or a moose hunt or whatever it is. But, like, how many people say they've been on a hippo hunt?
Yeah, hippo hunt.
It's just something.
And it went down like that.
You've got
Yeah.
that one. You've got it, man.
It wasn't just like, 300 yards. Poink.
Right.
There was so much behind it, and the days we went into it. We even made a little ground blind. These the trackers made this little ground blind out of brush in like 20 minutes. And it's
Sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
You could live in the thing. And we were looking there, and we were kind of looking through at these things, and they're 20 yards away. Like, if this wanted to, it could run us over.
Yeah, right now.
Thankfully, it didn't. But we never got a good shot at it, and we're all about ethic shots. Make a good shot, so we passed it. And got an opportunity to kill a couple days later. But, yeah, that was one that just stood out to me. That was cool. Just something I don't think I'll ever do again, and most people never will.
I would love to eat one.
Wow.
So going back, looking at that hunt, and this is how we always end these podcasts. Like, what'd you learn from that? It doesn't
The
need to
hippo
always
hunt
be.
alone?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be always tactics. A lot of times it is. Maybe it's
Could be ethics. Could be morals. Could be
whatever.
That's what I was thinking. It's just
Anything
the
like-
ethics of it,
Yeah.
like of how much purpose that animal went into.
Yeah.
Like what that animal was for. And people say, "Oh, you just shot a hippo." I'm like, this hippo would have been shot by poachers or the people who knew the person that got killed by it. They would have just shot it and left it to rot out of anger. But instead, this animal had thousands and thousands of dollars put back into conservation to bring back into this property, which also lived great years in this place.
Yeah.
It lived an amazing life until it had another purpose. So that's what I caught out of it. And I already knew, the efforts in conservation, but this really buried it deep down.
It drove
in me.
it
So,
home.
Yeah, this is what this is for. There's a lot of people that think Africa hunting is all this. They got all kinds of stigmas about it and all this bad stuff about it. But no, once I went there, I learned a lot about it, and that just really dug it down deep into my core of like, man, this has a purpose.
Yeah.
This is a good hunt. So I never felt weird about it, and now
Cool.
I want to promote it to other people in the future. And I've been all over the world hunting, and Africa is the one place where everybody's immediately like, got to come back.
Yeah.
Got to do this again. I'm going back next year.
Yeah.
And, some hunts like an elk hunt, maybe, I loved it, but I was exhausted. I want to do it again. I did it. Checklist.
Yeah.
Even though that's like my favorite thing. I'd love to get an elk. I just haven't been able to for injuries. But, yeah, that Africa stuff is just unbelievable. There's so many animals, too. You go all over the world and see 3 or 4 big game animals. But Africa, you see hundreds. And they're just everywhere.
Different
Same thing with
kinds. And
the one thing that blew my mind was elephants.
Yeah.
People say elephants are going extinct. There's not many of them. I saw more elephants in one day in South Africa than I've seen in deer in an entire year.
Really?
It's unbelievable.
Just
I saw
elephants.
hundreds and hundreds.
Do they
of
hold
elephants
each
in one
other's
day.
tail and walk in a line like Jungle Book?
I don't know if I ever saw it, but honestly, it's cool though. I watched some things like there was one where we were in a river basin that was dried up, and they're like, "There's no way these things are getting water.
Yeah.
These things are huge. They need a ton." I was watching them dig down into these things and get water, and then let the youngs come in.
Really?
The young bulls come
Cool.
in, and the young elephants and drink water, and it's like, where are they getting this water from?
Just
and they
digging
find
it up.
and they move on. Such a smart animal, but yeah, they
Incredible.
are. We got false charged by an elephant while we were there too.
Sweet.
A young bull that was pretty terrifying, but obviously it let us go because I'm still
Yeah,
standing.
he did it.
Or I wouldn't be.
Yeah, and
But-
you're here. You sit before us, young grizzly man.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for coming on and talking to us. This is. We haven't had an Africa story yet.
No, we haven't.
And
You're
I'm
on the
very
first.
excited. I figured we
It's
had
gonna be
talked
hard
to
to
you
top
earlier
that one,
about
yeah.
preparing an Africa story for us. So.
It's been an eventful year, and we got some big stuff planned next year, so I can't wait to do more.
Excellent. Well, for people who are watching or listening and want to follow along, see what you're up to, how can they do that?
Do you have that hunt on film?
Yeah.
And where can people go and watch that if they
You
want
will
to?
eventually be able to find it at African Wild Safaris on YouTube.
Okay.
And on their social media. It's not up yet because I'm about 2 months behind on editing.
Fair.
Yeah, I got so much, and now I'm on this trip, and I got this stuff to do. So
Yep.
I'm behind, but I'm going to be on the computer for quite a bit this year to try to catch up on all that. But, yeah, you can find that at African Wild Safaris. You can also find me at Jesse Ray Anderson on Instagram, as well as the Grizz Man, M-E-N, not M-A-N, because somebody else took it. And then on my company at Grizz_Media, and that's
Cool.
where we do pretty much everything that I've ever done. You can see on there as well. So,
Wonderful.
Very
well, hey,
cool.
man,
Thank
thanks
you.
for coming on, and it's been good hanging out with you this
Yeah,
week.
it's been awesome. It's been cool to be at this camp and watch you guys shoot some deer.
Heck yeah.
You
We got some
first
more
blood,
coming.
First
Did you
blood.
see how he said you guys shoot some
Yeah,
deer?
Jared gets lumped into there.
Well,
Hey,
hey, before we're before
You're
we're
part
off,
of
okay. I mean, I was gonna say about the one you had passed earlier, but we're not gonna talk about.
you know what? We're gonna let that
Yeah,
sit.
that
There'll be more
wouldn't matter.
podcasts.
They'll see it on my social.
You know
It's
what?
very
You're-
tough.
Yeah.
I'm
Follow the
regretting it.
social to see the story of the buck that got away.
A lot of sleepless nights since.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Well,
All right.
thank you
Thanks, guys.